friends, my name's Colonel Failure and this is Cities Skylines. In recent episodes we have been, well, rather preoccupied with the comings and goings of traffic in this area of town. Enough of this. Let's move on to happier and more exciting times. Largely, of course, because we've fixed those problems. There are still some opportunities for improvement there, but we'll get to that in due course. Before we crack on, I just want to make sure that these skulls I'm seeing kicking about are not as a result of an emergent death wave. I'm pretty sure these days I'm rolling with all of my my kind of burst cemetery, burst crematorium, I guess, switched on all the time, for the most part, it seems to be doing okay. It's not, there's room for improvement, but it does seem to be keeping up with demand-ish. Yeah, you see, look, we've just got an unoccupied building happen there. I'm going to ignore it. Enough of this problem solving. Let's do some actual expansion. We are still chasing 50,000 population because that's at the point that we can unlock the airport, which is pretty exciting. That's what we want to see. I'm just going to fast forward a little bit until the sun comes up. I don't know about you, but building at night time is a little more complex. Look at that for a sunrise. It's beautiful. Okay, so if we look at our demandometer here, you can see we've got high demand for both industry and offices. It says industry or offices. I always see it as a bit of both. So that's what we're going to get to. Right, let's slow it back down again. Now, for those of you who are maybe unfamiliar with the city layout so far, here is the major part of the city, and I actually had some renaming to do. I was just going to rename Spruce Square to be overcompensating, largely because of this rather large tower it's got in the middle, and then this new area here, Rosewood Hills, which has got my my rather marvellous canal structure in there, we're going to call Damp. Okay, splendid. I'll get round to renaming all the areas at some point. High Park. In fact, I'm going to rename High Park Mysterious. In fact, let's call this Ghost Road. Despite the fact it's no longer, I think we'll call it that just so that we can remember that this is the point at which there was a road that nobody wanted to use. Just mark it down for posterity. Anyway, so. Current situation is here is pretty much, well, I mean, this is our major industrial area, and they're all mining, hence the rather heavy layer of smog, which I will turn off at some point. I like it, aesthetically, but when it comes to actually being able to see what the hell's going on, it's not exactly conducive. And then we've got Thunder Bay here, which, is our kind of secondary industrial area. But as you can see, as we spread out this way, things start to become a little bit more Spartan as far as industry is concerned. So I'm going to build out the side of Heather Heights here. Heather Heights, yes. We're going to call this Le Smog, for it is French, and for no reason. And I think we'll build out some industry on this side here, but I want to start thinking about trains as well. We've only got one train service for goods at the moment. And then, of course, one more thing that I'm going to do today. You see, I've thought this through. I'm hard charging to get it done. And this is where we're going to start, is we're going to build this kind of segment out here. I'm going to build like an L shape going around this road area. That is going to be offices and commercial. So let's start as we mean to go on by laying out a bit of road. Okay, I'll take that all the way up there. It's not particularly flush, is it? Let's try that again. We got a good result, but right angles are not a luxury. They're a thing we should be doing. There we go, that's a bit better. Of course, that won't go under the bridge now, will it? No, of course not. Okay, well, we'll take it as far as... Really? Is that still a right angle? Well, it goes to show how misaligned everything else was. Right, and then we'll bang that out there, and then thread this somehow under this bridge. We shall worry about junctions a little later. I've had enough of junctions for the time being. Where should we go to? Let's put it there for the moment. Okay, so this is going to be the L that is going to be heavily commercial in nature, and the reason that I'm building this out first is because I want to incorporate a train station into this area, and that station is going to be coming from Le Smog, the new part of Le Smog that we are currently working on, or about to be currently working on. You get the drift. Okay, we'll run that along there, and then everybody should be happy. So this area is going to be slightly more angular than those that we've been working on lately. But you know, there's no harm in just once in a while having some straight lines going on. Where are we? Look, I said straight lines. You could at least snap at 90 degrees. That's there we are. And I've got a plan on the drawing board. It's not quite at the execution stage yet, but I've got a plan for something rather nicely laid out when we start to approach doing the airport. So that's still to come. However, we've got this nice rectangle here in which we could build something a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit something. Can I pull out from there? I can pull out from there. Okay, if we can go at a nice angle all the way through there, that'd be kind of cool. And then do a bit of this. No, one more. There we go. So this is, this is very much in the old school style, the designs that I always used to use. This is this is going to be fairly high density stuff we've got going on here, but all being well, I don't want to connect that actually. I'll leave that as is. So this bit of road is going to be, it's going to be pretty busy. No, no, yes. Right about that. And then let's drag that across. You're going to want to be 45 degrees-ish, I would suggest. And I don't actually want to connect it all the way up to there. I just wanted the angle. No. Look, you can do this in a straight line. Straight-ish line. Evidently, that is not straight. Why? How has that managed to come off not quite being straight? Oh well, let's use the old standby of it. It doesn't need to be straight because it's organic. Go, and a few connect up to there. Okay, right. It's okay. That's not quite as beautiful as I might have originally intended, but as areas go, this will do. And this one is it's entirely functional in nature. So this is just to pack out with quite a lot of whatever it was I was talking about before. Commercial. There you go. That's the fella. Pack it out with some commercial. Get some parks in here. What do we got here? A restaurant plaza. I don't think this is going to be restaurant plaza kind of area. But as was wisely pointed out by... Was it Stormy? I think it was Stormy pointed out that you can use parks as an alternative to running electrical pylons. and that, for my money, is a rather wonderful thing to do, because, you know, pylons, as much as they have their place, and they can look rather wondrous, most of the time they end up looking pretty ugly. Right, let's do one more here. Let's get this out, connect it onto there. Let's do 2 junctions, and then we'll park up in order to... I haven't found a park I like. That's why I'm still umming and ahhing on this park front. Let's put some basketball in here. Everybody likes a bit of basketball. And we'll put the Paradox Plaza. Okay, good. That should be enough to spread the power. Yes, it does. Spreading the power. And then we'll get offices in here. And I know, I need to... do we want offices there as well? We might as well offices there as well. Right, and then let's get the water sorted, of which we've actually got some already in place, which is helpful. And as before, you know, where previously I've basically done grids to sort out water, following roads is actually much easier. And since they go largely hidden, you know, you're never going to win any prizes for having the best water distribution system from a you know, a style and beauty fashion. Better just that it works. Okay, so here we're going to do... So this is basically driving demand. Now, on the other side of this kind of double stretch of road here, I'm going to put the rail station. Now, this is going to generate a whole heap of traffic. But it should mean that we get plenty of delivery of supply for our newly fashioned, although as yet unzoned, commercial district. That is the plan, anyway. So let's have a look at existing rail, such as it is. Have we not got any going out that way? That's disappointing. Nope, there we go. There it is. It's over here. Look. All right, so that's actually quite a trek. But hooking up onto that, let's have a look. Heading out towards Le Smog. We could run a rail line that comes out over here alongside this this bridge. Actually, is this a bridge that I've designed? I think that might be one of the default bridges, you know. This mess of a junction we're going to have to resolve pretty soon as well. But interesting. Okay, what am I? Well, what am I thinking then? Okay, so the fundamental here is that we don't want the traffic from this railway station to just merge on willy-nilly, because doing so does nobody any favours. So we want to build a dedicated kind of turnabout for this for the station. So I'm going to lead it up to the roundabout here. So if we run a little parallel track there, we could possibly merge it onto the I. In fact, this wants to be one way, doesn't it? And if we merge onto the I, that's going to be no good, because the traffic is largely going to want to get to this area out here. So routing it to the roundabout is going to be the smarter thing to do. So let's upgrade this to be one way, and then make sure that it's the right way. There we go. Hold everything, hold everything. That's it. Right, that way round. Now this is about the only time using one way that you don't come completely and horrifically unstuck. You still come unstuck. Largely, it's service vehicles as much as anything else that have a woeful time getting to one-way areas. Now, if I pull this off here, we'll have at least a nod towards getting this traffic going, and there we go. Right, No, that shouldn't be the case. That should be one way. I need to upgrade that. There we go. So traffic coming off here can either head down the one-way section or it can head up there, which should be fine. You know, that doesn't go anywhere yet, so there's no big deal. Yes, that's a bit of a tight corner, but I'm probably going to leave the traffic lights intact there anyway. So next job, and this is the point at which I wonder whether I've left enough space or not. I have left enough space, is to get our station in here. And in fact, this area might be busy enough to warrant 2 stations. All right, well, you know, why not? Let's you know, let's throw caution to the wind and see what we get. However, let's get in a bit of water connectivity. And I do need to check through all of my my recent kind of service expansion to make sure that I've got everything that I need in terms of waste disposal and what have you. Alright, so we're going to aim for crossing over there. So, in fact, if I do that now, that will probably help me out. So let's go about here. Now, this might make it tricky when it comes to getting past this this highway interchange. Well, this lump of spaghetti we've got kicking around there. That might need a little bit more work. However, what we can do here is we can connect to outside. Go on, I saw you go. And we also want to connect inside as well. Go as far as there, and then no. Do a nice simple connection. That will do. And you know, the whole "that will do" sentiment is not one that that you know I'm advocating for this playthrough, but it is one that when we're working out of necessity, as we are at present. Should we spur off that way? Is that too aggressive? No, that's fine. Go on, if you can get over there, that'd be lovely. And then over this next one. And then you can drop back down again. Alright, we'll figure out where that gets to in a moment. In the meantime, so yeah, I mean, what I was saying, that will do is not, you know, the thing you should say to yourself if you're trying to design something that actually looks good, but redevelopment is the name of the game. So this whole section here, we're going to redevelop the whole thing, not least of all because that thinks it's got some kind of major tower going on, and it very clearly doesn't. So for the moment, I think we'll probably try and thread under there, but later on we'll do a better job with that. All right, that's the way out, and then let's just get our 2 chunks of rail going in the right direction. Now we'll use an actual right angle here. Not 100 degrees, no, 90 degrees. That's what you want as a right angle. And then we'll come down here and we'll hop the steady. No, look, you're there. Look, right there. We'll hop the road. And actually, if we switch to curves again, we might be able to get across in one hit. If the pillars for that bridge want to comply, which of course they do not. So let's get it across and then something along those lines. This is going to be a feat of engineering. Because to me, that looks like rather a tight angle. Let's take it up. Yeah, it's not... Actually, no, that's great. I like it. That will do nicely. Okay, there we go. So we've got 2 stations here. Now, whether they're both used or not, I would imagine they would be. But, you know, there's no way to know for certain until we put the thing into action. So we'll then roll that over here. In fact, we'll roll it up to there and then do the other part of the curve separately. And I'm gonna rethink all of this because it's not brilliant. So for the moment, this is all about just getting this area up and running. And then a little later, we'll figure out means whereby we can make it look a little more glam. Yeah, you see, look, I've just put this furnace at the end of a one-way section, and this is exactly what I was saying shouldn't be done because it's not clever. We'll put one more out here and hope it's on the... You on the water network? Just barely. Let's fling that out there, and that should be viable. Right, what else are we going to need? So we're going to need our some police cover. Same with fire. That was fire, you fool. This is going to be police, and I don't want to put police on the one-way either. This is actually a really bad place to put it, because my road connections, I don't have enough road connections. So let's... I mean, this is probably going to end in tears putting it like this, but we'll find out in due course. Right, okay, let's do the fun bit. Let's do a nice big fat block of zoning. Splendid. Okay, so these guys are going to be able to get supplies from out of town currently, given that they have that connection. But in the next episode, what I'll do is I'll turn around and do that part of Le Smog that needs to be built in order for this to work for some local delivery as well. So we need to connect over here up to a station somewhere, and we'll probably try and replicate the exact same system as we had before. But I know what you're saying. You're saying, well, this is all very good, but you've been paused for the entire episode. So let's just give it a minute of looking for some growth and see if we get any. Now, of course, these guys are unpowered right now, but that won't last. We could also do some healthcare out here, and we should put some death care as well while we're at it. Let's put a whacking great hospital there. And just ensuring that we don't end up with the plague. There you go. So, offices. Yeah, all about offices, but nobody is interested at all in building any commercial stuff because there's no demand for it right now. But if I get the power out there, we might get some rail deliveries happening, which might spur on a little bit of demand. That said, you know, it could be that I have to increase across the board before I'll get that demand ticking. Come on, chaps, let's... I mean, this does mean we're going to end up with rogue pylons, but I can live with that. There we go. You should have power. Oh, you haven't got power because you're... There you go. Yeah, how do you feel about that? One more. So as these fill out, these pylons will disappear, and any that are left over we'll take to school manually and make sure that they're not an issue. So there we go. We've got some offices coming up here, and they're actually levelling up nice and quickly. I've left a breather gap there so that we're not completely filled in. But, you know, we'll see how this pans out. I mean, what have we got? Traffic. Have we got any trains interested at all? Not yet. I think that's more likely once we're fully networked. Nobody's interested right now. So this is you've put the wrong type of station in, you total idiot. Yeah, kill them. Yeah, these need to be good stations. Let's get that done, shall we? Right. And of course the layout for good stations is completely different to the layout for passenger stations. Very helpful. Well, that's it. If I was looking properly, I wouldn't have had this problem in the first place. Now we're back. Well, this is not what we came to see. Let's just pretend I got this right in the first place. Okay, if you don't say anything about it, I'll be very grateful. Right, let's bosh this out here. Up the height. And then we're going to need to change the angle on here as well. Brilliant. Okay, that's that side. And of course it's now dark, so we can't see what's going on. But if I'm right, this should actually drop. That's road. That's the wrong stuff. You want this metal road. That's what you want. Right, and if we can delete just a smidge of that, then we should be able to create something that looks like it was intentional. Okay, that looks semi-intentional now. There we are. Now, at least we have the stations that I actually wanted. We're going to need to power up again. Like that. Okay, right, there we are. So, that's wrapped that up. Now, this was an endeavour to be a non-faffing about episode, and I think we've ticked that box relatively well. The only downside, of course, being that I built the wrong stuff. But, you know, these things happen, and that'll sort itself out. So, next time around, we're going to get the industrial area going, which should prove to be helpful. Because all of this should be ready to spring into gear as soon as I get that happening. Equally, we're going to need another residential area in order to pad that out. And the next residential area I do is going to also include some fairly glorious touristy type stuff. So tune in for that. There we go. Look, trucks. Lots of trucks. Well, that's a mayhem of traffic right there. Let's kill those traffic lights. So, thanks very much for watching today. I've been Colonel Failure. You've been wonderful. And next time out, more progress. Please leave us a like. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I'll catch up with you very soon. Thanks for watching. Cheerio.